Hey folks, Andy here, helping you build a career you love. Thursday live office hours. We're on for a solid hour, and all I'm doing today is answering your questions. So get in the chat, say hi, let me know where you're from, let me know what you do, let me know what you need. Put some question marks in front of your questions. If you are in any of my programs, let me know that with a hashtag if you're a boot camper or a leader or on Team Apollo or maybe in one of my mini camps or something like that. And I saw in the chat, because I always like to eyeball stuff. Well, hey, Mom, that's always first and foremost. Great to see you. Can we all give Tony Proya, my beloved boot camper and leader from Dunedin, that's in Florida, near one of my favorite bars, Frenchie's, who got a great big-time job with Honeywell. So proud of you, man. Great to talk to you the other day. I love it. So I'm thinking of you. And Farrah Mars, my boot camper, nice to see you. Adam Stark from the other side of the pond. There's Tony P. Priyanka, hello to you. Michael, Tierney, Terry, Christine, Doug, Kara, Donna, Kush, Jim, Riptide, Julie Mack from the left coast, Stacy, Irwin, Laura, Atunga, and everybody else who's spending the midday with me. Okay, I've got a few announcements today. I'll tell you maybe a little more at the bottom of the hour. Real quick though, reminder, if you're in the Mile Walk Academy community Facebook group or LinkedIn group, those are being shut down tomorrow. That's not bad news. That's good news, because we want you all in the private community that we have on Circle platform, which is even better. It's way better. It's way more fun. We do way more stuff. So make sure that you, if you have no idea what the heck I'm talking about because you've been missing the memos or the big street signs that we have posted in those groups, make sure to hit support@milewalk.com. Next week, Productivity Minicamp. We're doing this for the very first time. I'll tell you more about that. Maybe we'll pin that in the chat. Sign up for that. It's all free all week. Well, it's free Monday through Thursday. You got video lessons coming via email. You can watch those at your leisure. We got a live show on Thursday. It's in the Zoom room. You're all invited. And then on Friday, I'm meeting with my leadership crew, and we're talking more productivity stuff, email management. That's what they wanted to talk about, so that's what we're going to talk about. And then the following week is salary negotiation week, all week. So, got a lot to tell you. Great to have you. All right, let me see. I'm going right to my questions. I think I appropriately greeted everyone, or at least the first, 20 people. And I have a question from one of my boot campers. Farrah Mars, how are you? I've been a CIO for 10 years and I'm using the boss hunting technique to email CIOs at large companies for IT-related contracts or consulting opportunities. No luck so far. I would tell you, don't even bother. It doesn't surprise me. Let me see what your question is. Is it because they feel threatened by my background? No. If any advice on how to address it? Yes, I wouldn't do it. It's a low probability. CIOs at large companies are not tending to their emails. They're not. They simply are not. I often joke, I get questions from people on my YouTube channel like, well, I'm trying to follow your boss hunting technique and it doesn't work. And then they tell me they're trying to email CEOs at Disney. Okay, it's the same kind of thing. It's the wrong kind of target. It's genuinely a good target, but the probability from a practicality standpoint is it's ineffective. So that's it on that. I would not go after CIOs of large organizations. If you have been a CIO, I know you said for 10 years, I don't recall that that's from a large organization. That might be a little different, but my guess is that's why. Kara is telling me I skipped something, and that's probably because I didn't see it. And Ladouce, heading into third interview at a company's global HR next week, what should I anticipate? I do not know. Every company is different. I don't know who you're meeting with. The third interview could be with the hiring official. The third interview could be with the chief executive officer. So I don't know. I don't know what I would tell you. I would breeze through my job interview playlist. And here again, if you want some tips on subsequent interviews, I have those on my YouTube channel about how to score on the second interview and things of that nature, even when you get down to the end. But Every organization's interviewing process, sequence, frequency, duration, and all that good stuff is different. So with a general question like that, I can't really answer. If you want to try to squeeze in some more insight into who you're going to be interviewing with and what they told you the interview is going to be about, I'll give you more color. All right, Adam Stark. Need your help with my USP? I'm not sure what that is. Want to plan corporate events, background in film and customer service, how to reflect this in my resume. Most companies have a range of event types rather than just one type. Okay. Unique selling point. All right. So that's awesome. You said from one of my killer live office hours. I don't remember using, I might have used that. I didn't recognize the acronym because I don't think I would have used it as an acronym, but your unique selling points, or what is going, your bread and butter, I think I called it, is going to have everything to do with what they need. One of the things that we're actually going to be covering on May 13th in my boot camp program, in the job search coaching program, is how to introduce yourself. And when you think about introducing yourself, and by the way, whether this is on a resume, in an interview, in an informational interview, in a formal interview, in anything, this is the tweener between your elevator pitch and the walk me through your resume. It's the middle ground, the no man's land, so to speak, where people get lost and have a really hard time. That has not a lot to do with how well you know yourself. Isn't that funny? Introducing yourself isn't about knowing yourself. What is it about? It's about knowing the other party and how well you know the other party, how effectively you can anticipate what the other party needs to know, what their issues are. And so a lot of your unique selling point is just that, is recognizing what is it that organization needs. I would say to you, if I was sitting there next to you and we were researching organizations and there was 10 different event planning positions, the way I would articulate me to them could be, I might end up with 10 unique ways of doing that, depending on what I'm gleaning from the job description, what I'm gleaning from the type of company they are. Okay, a tech company's events are different than a hospitality company's events. Their challenges are different, right? One has more to do with what? Probably education. The other has more to do with what? Enticement. Those are different problems. Your unique selling proposition to each one of those needs to be different because what they need is different. So your unique, I hope you guys get this. Your unique selling points are not about you. They're about what they need to understand about you and what you bring to the table. So my suggestion here, my response to your question is you got to look for what those organizations' challenges are. And that requires some detective work. And then you need to align your skill sets, your experience, and the problems you've solved for others, or the ambitions you've helped others satisfy. That's what you need to highlight. That's how you do it. All right. Priyanka, you passed your final interview and had a background check too. I love it. When do you think the offer letter is going to be sent out? I've got the verbal offer from the management. Again, I'm not, every organization is different. I'm all about explicit communication. That's great. Thank you for the verbal offer. When will you be sending me the official one in writing? Priyanka, it's going to be after we get the background check back. That's one way of doing it. Most don't do that. That's because, why? That holds things up. I want to get the offer in your hands, and I want to tell you, here's your verbal offer, here's your written offer. Your written offer is contingent on a successful background check. It might be contingent on a successful background check. It might be contingent on a successful reference check. It might be I'm glad I got my de-esser on. It could be contingent on a drug test. It could be contingent on a whole bunch of things. So when I think it will come, I would ask. I would respond that same way if you said, I had an interview, when do you think they'll contact me to come back? You got to ask them, when will you get back to me? When will the written offer come to me? What is it contingent on anything? What's the holdup? Sometimes it's, hey, we're going to get it to you as soon as we can get it cleared through the big boss's desk. She's on vacation or whatever. So that's how I view that. I hope that helps. All right, Michael Tierney, great to see you, and Terry and Christine. Look at you guys. Dog, love the bike helmet, man. My legs are so exhausted from biking. Just bought another bike. It's on its way. Who's a marketing machine today? Tell me. Can I get a show of hands? Who's got the marketing machine mug? All right, Donna, great to see you. Kush Kumar, love that name. How are you doing? Jim R. Riptide, is there an email address that we can send you questions? We have. The only people who have direct email access to me are people that have enrolled in my job search coaching program at the VIP level. And if you are in the Mile Walk Academy, any of the programs, if you're in the job search coaching program, even at the base level, you can go in the system and actually ask me questions. And when you ask me questions in the system, I actually get email alerts and dashboard alerts that there are questions being asked, by whom it's being asked, and what you're asking me. That's another way, but there's only one program on the job searching side where I do that. That's the job search coaching program. You hear me call it the boot camp a lot. As far as if you're sending emails, even if you're in our programs, to support@milewalk.com, which is questions that you might have. Those are, we answer all of those questions if they are related to our programs, are if you're trying or you're having trouble logging into your system or whatever. So not knowing which types of questions that you want to ask me, if you have any questions that are related to, hey, I'd like to understand more about your programs. Hey, here's my issues. Can you help me? Where might I find this? We answer those questions. If you're asking me questions a lot like the questions that I get at live office hours about guidance about your job search, you can ask me here, or you can ask me in the system if you're in the job search coaching program, but we don't answer those questions in the support queue. I hope that helps, not knowing what kind of questions you actually have. Julie, finally able to join again since starting your new job. This is what I love to hear. Great to see it. I'm just so happy for you. Thank you, Michael Tierney. You are a good dude, man. A heaping helping of master advice while I move some iron. I love it. Hey, Stacy. Erwin, Dwight from Tokyo. I love it. It's probably, I'm guessing it's like midnight where you are. I do a lot of coaching with people in Asia, in that part of the world, and I get pretty familiar with the time zones. How are you, Laura and Atunga and Beth? Always nice to see you. Good talking to you a week or two ago. Pamela Moore, hey. Jonathan Sewell, what's up? Taya, good to see you. And Dana and Kush has got a question. You're a test engineer. I do lots of testing. Final, non-final. I'm confused at core competencies. How should I mention there are, and how about a program lang DB, except please help. Okay. Core competencies, so obviously different people are going to have different interpretations of what a core competency means. Generally speaking, and let's not split hairs, when I say core competency, I generally mean business functions or solution lines or technologies or something of that nature, because to know a particular software language, to know a particular testing tool, to me, that's a hardcore function. It's a hard skill. And so when you are a test engineer, you understand, maybe it's quality assurance testing, unit testing, integration testing. Those to me are core competencies. Okay, now, if there are particular business functions for which you know those testing procedures, those would also be. You can also, in your core competency section, and I'm talking about those of you that go to the Andy School of Resume Writing, I like an executive summary at the top. I generally call it a career profile. That's just the name I like. The first paragraph of that career profile is kind of like the introduction that you want to give people about you, where you give them the outer layer of the onion and then you kind of peel the layers of the onion. And then the second paragraph is the core competencies. That's where I like to put the obligatory, these are the functions that I know well, and put those in. And then there's a few other variations and modifications and applications of this stuff, but that's really what it is, Kush. Check out my video on how to write the perfect career profile. That will help you. Christine Martin, you bet. Frenchies and grouper sandwiches. We had a great meetup last fall. Atunga, what's up? Kurt, Christopher Hurry, my Canadian boot camper. Scander, what's up? Scander from Rome, but you're not Italian. 100%. All the way down the bloodline. Hi, KKL, what's up? You're going to Frenchies next week. I know Beth knows Frenchies, too. All right, let's see. Dana has a question. Interested in a position. My connection is connected to a woman who's connected to somebody. This is Ferris Bueller. Connected to somebody who I see most relevant. Should I prefer this or find somebody else? So, if you're going to go down the chain, the further down the chain you are, the less potent it becomes. Now, it all depends. So you know somebody. Now, you said my connection. What you didn't tell me is my best friend connection or the buddy of mine who I worked with for 10 years over at such and such, or this woman I know, hi, bye kind of friend. That depends. That matters. Because if that person knows somebody and then the strength of their relationship matters, and then, right? So if you said to me, well, I know this woman really well, who knows somebody really well, who knows the person, then I'd say go have them have actual conversations. I have this friend, her name is Dana. Right, kind of thing. If it's loose, the looser the chain at any point in the chain, the greater the likelihood that I would want to go direct and not even bother. That's me. All that depends on all the degrees of strength along the way. What do they say? The chain is only as strong as its weakest link. That's true in that case. I hope that helped. Tony P, great news, man. Great news. So this is how I roll. I got out of a swim on Tuesday. I get in my car and I was on my way to an appointment. And I had 15 minutes in between. I got in right at noon. I had 12:15 appointment, and I got a text from Tony Proya that told me the Eagle had landed. So actually, I was halfway through the text, and I just hit bang dial, and then he picked up. And then we got to, kick it back like a couple of schoolboys. Man, I was so happy because I think victories should be celebrated. Victories should be scheduled, and they should be celebrated. Oh, man, that's so good. Fix It Fox, what's happening? MTO, great to see you. Tracy, thank you for sharing your business case with us last week or whenever that was. God, my days string together. I can't even tell you what day of the week it is. All right. Kush, I have undertaken a 14-day job search challenge. That's a way to go. I am confused about what to write in a LinkedIn note under 300 words. You don't write anything in a LinkedIn note under 300 words. It's probably like 300 characters. That is a connection request. If you want to take the challenge, the best way to take the challenge is direct email. If you don't want a direct email, then in-mail, not connection request. That's the way I'm going to pack that answer up for you because you shouldn't be doing connection requests when you don't know somebody. Message them. RRD, what's happening? Great to see you. Kush, and very few are responding because you're sending them connection requests, if that's your limitation. Janet Roos, I'm interviewing with a company I'm really excited about. Final interview panel with a case study. I typically don't do well with presenting fake case studies. Janet, all you need to do is go check out my video on how to give a presentation in a job interview. Giving a presentation is about a number of things. It's about how effectively you package the talk. That's one thing, right? Obviously they're checking your communication style, demeanor, confidence, and those kind of things. I go through all that in the video. They're also checking how you lay out your points. I give you a template, an outline, a way of making your case, your pitch, or whatever in that video. And the most important thing is that you're communicating it effectively, and you're showing your work, you're explaining your rationale, and you've got a good walkthrough of how to go about doing what you're going to do. I would not be overly concerned about do you have the exact right answer, any of that. It's about showing your work. You got this. Vivian Acevedo, how many interviews is too many? Round 6 and they went silent. Wait, those are two different issues. I have no problem if a company wants to go 6 rounds or 20 rounds. It depends on what you're interviewing for. Now, if you're interviewing for a very senior level position, and they want to make sure they've got the right person, and they've got a number of candidates, and they want to make sure they're getting a good amount of insight and feedback from people in their organization, it could take several weeks, months, or longer. I don't have a problem with that. If they're taking you through a mid-level or lower level position in an interview for that, kind of ranking, and 6 rounds doesn't necessarily mean it's 6 rounds. It could be 6 30-minute meetings that you had, in which case they only have way less than 3 hours worth of data on you. That's not a lot. It depends on how logistically they set that up. If you had a screen, then you talked to the hiring official for an hour, then you talked and you had a technical screen with somebody on your team or whatever, and then you had a panel interview, and then they had a bunch of other things, and so on and so forth. Now you're starting to get a little long. Then they have the silence issue. The silence issue I just covered in nauseating detail in my employer ghosting video that came out a couple of weeks ago. I would check that out. But Vivian, it's not about the number. It's the same thing when you ask me, well, how far back should my resume go? How far back is too far back? Has nothing to do with that. It's had everything to do with marketing you, what markets you best. From an interviewing standpoint, I would argue that most employers should take longer to interview you and have more data on you. More data doesn't necessarily mean more rounds, but it could be more insight, more eyeballs on you, collecting more pieces of information about you, and so on. So that's what I would say on that. So you guys are hitting me today with a lot of questions where it depends a lot, and a lot of organizations different organizations are going to do it differently. Medina T, what is the good word, my leader? Should we reach out to HR if they leave their contact details in the job description, or we only boss hunt? And what's the difference between networking and boss hunting? Okay, so awesome questions, very efficient of you. I am very proud that you got all that insight into that much space. Here's my pecking order. This is generally how I feel. Boss first, teammate second, recruiter third, HR person fourth. Okay? That's just a general statement, because that, from a priority standpoint, is going to serve you better. All right? Now, I wouldn't always say that. I would say that in general, if I didn't know anything about your relationships, what information you had, how confident you were that you had the right boss, and so on. That's the pecking order. Second thing is, just because I have the information doesn't mean I want to use it. I would still look for the boss and go to the boss first. If the boss doesn't respond, in that case, I might then go to the HR person. You're going to have to use a different cover letter. The boss gets a boss hunting cover letter. The HR person is going to get a direct cover letter. Maybe it's a no job opening. Now, I understand you said they have it on the job description, but sometimes they'll have an HR contact. There won't be a job description. Sometimes they'll have a job description and it'll say submit inquiries to, this, so-and-so at HR, whatever. So you could go direct. You're just going to have to use a different tactic. Now you ask me about boss hunting and networking. Boss hunting is boss hunting first, and if it doesn't hunt the boss, it evolves into networking. I would still classify boss hunting as under the networking umbrella, because you're trying to get another point on your another spoke on your hub, right? Another contact, because you could reach out to the boss. Boss gets back to you and says, "Hey, Medina, this is great, but you got a great background, but we don't have anything open. I'd love to stay in touch," or "I don't have anything open," and that's the end of it. You can get back to that person and try to build a relationship with them. And I don't know. I know you're in the leadership program. I don't know if you're in the boot camp. In the boot camp, I have the Boss Hunting Bible. The Boss Hunting Bible tells you how to go through all these exchanges. So in the public domain, you all can have my 2 free boss hunting target templates. In the job search coaching program in my boot camp, there's a thick booklet with those templates, all the instruction about the do's, don'ts, how to use it, why you want to do it this way, and then like 10 or 11 different responses that they can come back with, and then what you need to say back to them to either grow your network, keep it going, get to the right person in the company, or whatever. There's so much more in the premium space than there is in the public space. And I don't know if you have access to that, but if you do, use the Bible. Hope that helps. Christopher Kopp, if we are of C-level, how do we connect with COO or CEOs of networking? The same way I would connect with anybody else. Your level in this case when you're networking has nothing to do with if the fact that they're on the same plane as you. And one company's CEO is another company's senior manager. So I don't know the relationship between the type of organizations where you are a C-level, but organizations might hire you as a director. It depends. But I don't have an issue with, I'm currently the chief, technology officer at this organization. I'm reaching out to you, the COO, because whatever, maybe you run all technology, you'd be a great counterpart. It's okay to do that. Kush Kumar, never fake it till you make it. It breeds imposter syndrome, because you are telling yourself that you are a fake. That's what you're feeding yourself. Don't fake it till you make it. I have a whole video on that. Riptide, I have 1 job offer. Awesome. They are not giving me a lot of time to decide. Still in the middle of interviews with the second company. Going to take a week to get the job offer from the second company. Advice. Yes. Stacy, what's the video I have on... What's the video I have on YouTube that will give Riptide some additional insight? I know in the boot camp, I go into nauseating detail and all the permutations and combinations about multiple job offers and what you would do or say depending on who comes in first, second, or third. And if your second favorite is giving you the offer first, and what you would do versus if your first favorite gave you the offer first, and so on and so forth. But Riptide, I'm going to try to give you the cleanest route because I really appreciate the question. So number one, let's talk a little bit about time to decide. First thing is the time that you are reasonably offered to decide is in reverse proportion to the amount of time you spent in the interview process. So what do I mean by all that mumbo jumbo? The longer you are in an interview process, the shorter the amount of time that you should need, let's forget for a second how much they offered or didn't, that you should need to answer whether you want to work there. Why? Well, it makes sense if you're in an interview process for a month or 10 weeks that you ought to know by the time I get you the offer that you want to work here or not. Now, I'm not talking about, well, is that enough money or not? But do you want to make it work or not? You should know that. Now, what you're going to say is, well, Okay, but I was only in it for a week. The shorter the amount of time you're in the interview process, the longer you should have that the company should also provide you for you to decide whether you want to take it, because you didn't have enough calendar time to get emotionally situated with the idea that you might be leaving your current company, or that you want this job, or that you know enough people, or you got all your questions answered, or whatever. So then generally you get a little longer to decide. Now, some companies always say, well, I want your verbal agreement before I even write it up. Or some say, well, you have 24 hours to respond. All that stuff's nonsense. Okay, everything is negotiable, including the amount of time you take. Now, let's strip it down for you. They're not giving you a lot of time. Let's say they want to give you a day. Let's say they want to give you a week. A day could be short or a week could be short. If you've got another interview, is lagging, then you're going to do one of two things. If you want to make it work with the first job offer, you have at your disposal a secret weapon that you can use, which is the other company trailing. I'm all about, I have these pieces on the chessboard. How do I use the pieces on the chessboard to gain advantage? Now, while the other company is still in the works, that works to your advantage if you'd like to make the offer work with company one. Why? Because you get to say to them, if you raise your offer to this level, I'll drop everything else that I have going and I will accept it. If you don't have anything else going and they don't know you have anything else going, you can't use that to your advantage. And organizations like certainty. They're more apt, this is human nature, they're more apt to raise what they're going to give you because they want everything to go away. What are they doing? They're paying money to reduce risk. That's smart, right? It works for you and it's going to work for them because they want you, right? They wouldn't give you an offer if they didn't. Okay. Now, what you can do is you can go to them and say, I really want to finish out this other option. Can you let me? Now, you need to go back to the second company and say, I got this other offer. Then what you say to the second company is either, I really like you better, or I got this other offer. Can you hurry it up? One of those. So what you say to them is going to depend on how you feel, and since I don't know any of that, I can't tell you which one to do. But you go back to the second company, and at a minimum, however you feel about them, you try to get an idea of when that's going to occur. Say, listen, I want to be respectful to the other organization. If you had given me an offer, I would want to do the same thing for you. I appreciate that you have your own pace and process. Can you at least give me an idea of how long this would take or when you might know so that I could give them a better idea of when I can have an answer? Then they say, Riptide, I don't know. I got a few other candidates. You say, okay, no problem. You go over to the other company and you either push them so let's make it work and I'll drop everything, or you accept the offer, try to push the start date out, and then finish out with the other one. Now, I don't love that, but what I don't want to happen is you looking over your shoulder because you took a job with some other organization that you didn't favor, and then you're working there 3 weeks or 3 months, and you keep looking over your shoulder because you're wondering what might have been. I would rather you take the offer, renege before you start, right? It's not great, but it's better than you getting there and working 3 weeks and 4 weeks and 5 weeks or 5 months, right? So you're going to have to do that. Now, the video that I want to point you to, there's 2 of them. These are free. These are on my YouTube channel. How to decide between 2 job offers. That's weighing. And then the other one is, should I tell a prospective employer I'm interviewing with other companies? The answer is you should. And then I go about how you should do that, because if you're laying the groundwork along the way and earning a reputation as a communicator, you're more apt to get the time that you request when the offer comes. I'm all about planning the victories, right? If I get into, this is how I approach everything. I'm going to get into an interview process 100%. I'm getting an offer. When I get the offer, what do I need to know? What do I need to do to position myself so if the offer comes at an untimely time in relation to the other offers I'm going to get? This is how I think. Then what am I going to need to do to lay the groundwork from now that might be 6 weeks from now where I'm going to have to say, I'm Riptide and I need more time, right? You got to think this way. A lot of people fail because they didn't plan to succeed, not because they couldn't succeed. So, and failing it's not really the right word, because did you leave money on the table, or maybe you pressed it and you weren't sure and you panicked and you took the offer, when if you'd have just waited a week, right, the other one might have been better. So that's a great question. And if you want more on this, I got this in spades in the premium program. And speaking of freebies and premium programs and stuff, couple quick announcements here. I mentioned we are closing down the communities. We're not closing down the Mile Walk Academy community. We're archiving our Facebook groups and our LinkedIn groups. Those are being shut for so many reasons. And I've communicated this to you over the last couple of months. If you're in those groups, we're going to be shutting them. We've got a better community platform for you where you can, there's proper spaces, everything's organized, it's highly searchable. We got group areas for you. You can group chat, you can direct chat, you can link up however you want. It's awesome. If you're not sure, support at milewalk.com. That's for our premium members. So we want to make sure you know that. Next week, here's what's in store. Starting on Monday, I'm releasing an email and a video each day. The videos they're not on YouTube. Okay, there's a watch page. They're about 20 minutes. They're key lessons from inside my productivity challenge, which is a multi-day, several-hour training course. I took about 75 minutes out of that course in 3 separate lessons. One is planning your weeks and days, one is running your day, and then one is running your projects. I gave you full emails with a write-up, details on what I do, a video, I think some swipes, some other things. They're really nice little keepsakes. Even if you're in my productivity challenge, this is great for you to have. And then on Thursday, you can come to the Zoom room where I'm going to be teaching more. That is all new teaching, or at least newly delivered material, and it's for the public. We have a limited number of seats, but we want you to be registered so we can send you the RSVP link. We will have the overflow. If the room gets filled and you can't get into the Zoom room, we'll make a YouTube stream available, but we won't be managing the chat, and we won't be giving away the prizes and all that other good stuff, and we won't be answering the questions from there. So that's Thursday. And then anybody who's in my leadership coaching program can join me on Friday for another private Zoom session. That one will be on email management. I know a lot of people were really struggling with email. I love email. I have it totally tamed. It works for me. It's a tool. It should not be taking over your life. So I'm gonna unveil basically everything I do with email, how I do it, how it's automated, how I go through it, so that I can use it to my advantage. Again, victories. That's next week. The following week, we're talking about salary negotiation. I've got some lessons in the week, and on Thursday, we're going to do a salary negotiation case study. That's on Thursday, May 12th. That'll be on YouTube. That'll be up for 24 hours. It's a special, and then it's coming down Friday at 11. And I have a session with people in my boot camp, in my job search coaching program, those members, where we're going to be doing introduction hot seats. So here's how it's going to work. These are awesome. In March and April, what we did was we did resume hot seats. During the hour, what would happen is they would email support with their Word document resume. I would pull it up on the screen. They would come up on the camera, and I would look through it and tell them, I would get a little insight from them. I would tell them what I see and what to expect and how to improve it and how that was going to affect their interviews. This month, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the resume and I'm going to show them from the resume what I think is the best way for them to introduce themselves based on what they've done in their lives and the kind of positions that they want to interview for. So this is not the one sentence elevator pitch, and it's not the walk me through and tell me everything about you. It's how very powerfully in a minute can you get across who you are, what you do, and how you're going to solve all their life's problems. That's going to be so awesome. That's May 13th. And I'm giving you a long warning now. that that the program, the job search coaching program, which has been priced what I think is ridiculously inexpensively for the value that you get, all of that stuff is going to be going up in June, like a pretty good amount. So if you are on the fence and you want to get in, it's a great time to get in. I'll give you a full official warning, but I want you to know that it's not going to be at these rates for much longer, and I'm completely restructuring the program. So if you have any questions, support@malawalk.com. If you're interested in getting in, you can check out the page. Maybe the team can drop it in the chat. There's a lot of good stuff. One other thing that I did that I just did this yesterday or the day before. A lot of you, which I love, email me and ask. You say, Andy, thank you so much. I got a new job. I really would love to donate. Can I send some money to you? And we 100% of the time say, no, thank you. We would love for you to invest in yourself if you want to try a inexpensive program out like my leadership program to develop your skills and all that good stuff. There's no obligation. But one of the things I now have at my disposal on the YouTube channel is the super thanks button. It's on recorded videos. So any videos that are on the channel, you can donate to the channel if you would like. YouTube takes a huge cut, obviously, but it is a way to make a modest donation that'll help me and the team. I'm not going to make a big deal about it, but I get a lot of emails from people who want to, in some way or another, donate. And I would rather you invest in yourself, or if you want to make a real small donation, do it that way on the YouTube channel. So I really appreciate it. And speaking of, if you donation to me, just click the like button if you're getting value out of this. Smash that sucker, the like button, boom. Share it. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. And if you're subscribed to the channel, one of the things that I noticed, and I got a few emails and comments the other day about, hey, you had this new video or live stream, why was I not notified? Only 10% of you turned the notification bells on. 9.9% of you, in fact. So click the little notification bell, or maybe all notifications, so that when I go live and when things are up and running, you get an alert on, or you get a notification, or at least a bubble that I put something new out. So that's something that I think will help you. And then the other thing is every Tuesday and Friday now, I'm releasing audio podcasts on my Tips for Work and Life podcast, which is really climbing up the charts. I want to thank all my Slovakian friends for keeping me in the top 3 in business and careers. But people from Ireland and Spain and Turkey and South Africa and Italy and a whole bunch of others, and I think the US, I think I broke into the top 100 or something this week. Which stands to reason because I keep pumping out more stuff. So I hope you enjoy those, and I got some specials coming here soon. Audios that are coming out. I hope you enjoy those. All right, let's get back to now after the commercial break. Let's get back to the messages. Adam Stark, does this mean? So you're going back to what I mentioned earlier about anticipating the problems, that you should change your CV each time, or are you referring to interviews? I actually was referring to cover letters, messages, emails, discussions in the interviews. That would be a huge help. And if you want to alter your resume, the place I would do that is in the highlights section. So for those of you, again, Andy School of Resume Writing, you got a career profile. That's going to be fairly static because the career profile is about what you want them to know about where you're going, what you want them to know about how big and awesome you are. When you get into the highlights section, there should be 3 bullets, highlight bullets. I talked about this a couple times in the last couple of weeks. And these are bullets that are also in the body of your resume in the professional experience section, but you've pulled them out, you've copied them. So you're going to ask me, well, can I use the same bullet? Yes. Duplicate them. Up at the top, you're pulling forward the things you want them to see first. Those bullets should address the major challenges that they have and how you've already done something that has benefited your company, your team, your unit, your community, or whoever. There were some beneficiaries in some major way of a problem you solved that you know they are likely to have. That's where I would, just like little widgets, taking them out, putting them in. Hey, that's that kind of event planning company. I'm going to do that. That's a corporation that's going to do that. I'm going to take that bullet out. I'm going to put this bullet in. There's almost no maintenance, right? It's a speed rack of things you just yank out of your resume verbatim. And that's what I would do there. Amy Willoughby, what's up? Good to see you. Hope you enjoyed that first 90 days webinar that only you have, I think. Danisha, great to see you. And hey, Reka, how are you, my leader in boot camper? And Stacy does have my marketing funnel mug. That's because we sent the team a couple of Anand, hey, Andy, what can we do different to differentiate our candidate while in the interview? I would say that the biggest thing that differentiates candidates is the context in which they present the stories they tell. So assuming that you are bright, smiling, energetic, generally appealing, enthusiastic, right, all that good stuff, and you know your stuff, and you're in an interview, okay? Because remember, you're in an interview because you're qualified. So somewhere between you being qualified on paper and you not getting a job, you have to open your mouth. When you open your mouth, the huge difference is some people are able to do a couple things. Elevate the discussion to the appropriate level, especially if you're more senior. We've been doing a lot of this in one-to-ones lately in my coaching session where we're taking stories that are here and we're bringing them up here. And people are actually getting hired for positions that they are a little frightened of because it's a little higher than they thought they could achieve, but they did. There's that. But the other thing is, when you're telling your story, if you are properly situating the receiver with the right context of the story and why it was important and why it mattered and why you were even doing it in the first place, they're getting context around the magnitude. That gives you heft. And then what's going to happen is you're already foreshadowing the benefits that you attained, so you're getting those in up front, and you're walking them through the outline of what you did, and then you're taking them through the steps of how you did that. And when you take them through the outline, what that does is it shows them you've got a framework, a methodology, or a playlist. People pay more for playlists. All of these things differentiate the candidate. I've got a couple videos coming out. One is, it might be, I don't know if it's next week or the week after. I'm scheduled out for like 7 weeks of content right now. So, but context, framework, benefits. That's how you want to say it. Suzanne, what's up? First interview a month ago. I was the first candidate and they are still interviewing. I've been touching base with the recruiter every 2 weeks. Should I keep that schedule? So, any interview process where you have to touch base every 2 weeks, that's pretty bad. And the recruiter should be proactively keeping in touch with you. So I'm more about feeding the damn funnel. Hold on. Right. Suzanne, you're doing way too much of this in the middle, the exchanges, right? 90% of your time should be finding new employers to send your stuff to. Not apply, send your stuff to. You're in the 1% area and you keep following up, to which I would say, stop. Tell them, can you let me know when you're going to contact me? When's the next checkpoint? Great. Put that in your diary and then move on. That's it. That's all I would do. And you're going to say, well, I need them to know I'm enthusiastic. You are. Tell them I'm enthusiastic. Please let me know if you can tell me when you might know something, or at a minimum when we should reconnect. That's it. And then move on. Erwin, it's 1:14 a.m. right now. Oh man. You know what? That's just awesome, buddy. I really appreciate that you stay up and spend the time with me. A lot of times I do my Hong Kong, my Singapores, all the Asian countries. I do them like 5, 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning, something like that. and you need to laminate the market. I know. I wrote this in December of, I don't know, 2019. I have been using this card ever since, and it just sits on the pile right there inside my cabinet because I use it so often. And then I put it on the mug. Don't you guys listen? Little Andyisms on mug? All right, what do we got? Let's keep going. Froggy Shave. I just received your book and absolutely love it. Thank you. By the way, that guy right there. Whoop. Oh, well, the one in the front, interview intervention. That book package is going to be changing next month. Right now, if you kick in $7 for materials, I'll pick up the book, the ebook, the audiobook, some bonus ebooks. I throw in the shipping and all that other stuff. I just asked you to kick in a few bucks at this moment for the warehouse dudes in McHenry, Illinois, who pick it and pack it, put it in an envelope, and mail it to you wherever you are in the world. So I hope you enjoy it. And thank you, Froggy. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Kush Kumar, I do understand the pain of being an engineer. Hey, Rob Laporta, what's up? Laura Trucano Harp. Trucano? I wonder how you pronounce that. When reaching out to reestablish my network, should I include my resume in the initial contact or ask the contact if it's okay if I send them my resume? Neither. If you're reigniting your network. Now, if I remember correctly, I think, you've been out of work for a while. Now you're coming back into the workforce. Message them, I'm coming back into the workforce. Just reconnect. And then say, if you feel it would be helpful to share my resume, I'd be happy to send it to you. And just, don't ask them if it's okay. Ask them if they want it. I mean, because is it okay if I send it to you is a little more of a push out. Now, if you're going to boss hunt to your network, like you worked with somebody a bajillion years ago and that person is, she's top dog at whatever, just say, hey, I don't know this, blah, 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 and I took the liberty of dropping my resume because I'd really love to work with you. You could do that as well. All right, M. Foreman, tips for getting government work. Couple things. Networking still works in government work. It does. Make sure when you apply, you're including a resume that is nauseatingly detailed. And as long as you want to make it, this is an exception to the 2-page rule. And make sure that if you're going to apply to a government position, especially the federal government, but most municipalities, that you check off all the items in the job description that you actually have the skills they're looking for. And somewhere or another, you include the fact that you have that. That's an exception to the Andy 2-page rule. So I would try that. B. Sutton Quaid. Hey, where you been, man? Hello, I read your book, Interview Intervention. You helped me get hired. Awesome. 6 months later, promotion. Love it. Now 12 months and discussing another promotion. Thank you, Andy. I love it. B. Sutton. If you are not in my leadership coaching program, you should be because I got all this covered. Promotions, pay raises, performance reviews, all that stuff. There's a whole training course on it, and there's whole individual monthly sessions where we reviewed this stuff in detail. But I appreciate you, and I appreciate you stopping by. Rayland. Do I mention that I know a VP that works in the organization I'm interviewing at? How do I name drop? I'm thinking when I say why I want to work there. So, I love this question. And it depends. As you would imagine, name dropping is fine if that person is beloved in the organization. What happens if that person's a jerk? Right? She's mean or he's a jerk or whatever. So I would go to the person and I would say, hey, bud, what kind of reputation do you have? Would it be helpful if I mention I know you? What's wrong with that? If you're going to name drop, then you better know. I don't name drop unless I know. I don't make a move unless I know I'm going to win, right? Kind of thing. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a difference between what I do on a day in and day out basis, which is exploratory. Next week, I got a productivity mini camp video series live show combo. I don't know if it's going to work, but long term it's going to work because what? I'm going to try something that's exploring. It's giving you, the worst thing that happens is you all get a bunch of value and you don't like it enough to jump into my program. Big whoop-de-doo, right? I learned something that's valuable to me, right? It's a pawn being moved off the chessboard, but in doing so, I'm gaining a lot of benefit and I'm gaining a lot of data and I'm giving a lot of benefit to the world. That's a victory, right? I win no matter what, right? But it's an exploration. When I go into a situation where it's a yes or no, damage or not, I'm looking at benefit versus potential downside. So risk versus reward, probability and odds. And when I'm going to go in, I'm only name dropping if I know that person is the king or queen kind of thing, right? It's really important. You name drop somebody I don't like, you are hosed. You are hosed. You're guilty by association. I don't like that person. You like that person? I'm serious. Like this, as much as I would love to tell you I could be totally objective, right? I can't. I'm not, right? We're all human. They're built-in biases from experience, and right? So be really careful. So can you name drop? Heck yes. Should you? I don't know. Right? Kind of thing. Now, what I would say to people, like as an example, I'm prepping a candidate and she's going to go in and talk to this woman who's the chief operating officer of her company. I say to my candidate, all right, it's okay it's okay to go and talk and say to her and say, hey, I was really excited to talk to you. Andy said a lot of nice things. That's okay because I did say a lot of nice things and she could say that. And that's a softener. If you go into that and she's not going through me as an executive recruiter, but you're going through a friend and you say, hey, Tommy, I was really eager to talk to you. Andy said a lot of nice things about you. My friend Andy said a lot of nice things. Andy said he used to work with you. Sounds like you got a great reputation. All that's okay if you know for sure that it's gonna fly well. So just be really careful. All right, let me zip down. Encore, Ariana, Dana, root beer for you. Where you been? Good to see you. Okay. I can't remember who Kinizvik SA. Sue? I don't know who. I can't remember. I think that's a boot camper of mine. Waiting to hear from employer. Yesterday, recruiter told me I was the front runner. Should I follow up on next steps or just wait? You should just wait. And then, should I just sit back and wait or follow up? You should wait. Final answer. Abbas, hi Andy and everyone. How soon is too soon to leave your current employer? 1 minute. Go. If you go somewhere and you leave in a week, what's wrong with that? You're worried about how that's going to look? You go to the next interview and you say, I made a mistake. Or I got there and it's my fault. I should have investigated some stuff. This wasn't for me. That's it. Don't sweat this. I know it is literally impossible to watch everything I've ever said. But I'm going to say this now because I don't know if I've said this in a while. My happiness is how can I go? The number one priority in my life. I am not going to spend a minute talking to somebody I do not like. I am not going to spend a minute going to a job that I hate, right? And you're going to say, well, Andy, I got to put food on the table. All right, well, then work really hard to get out of there. If you're going to keep going and suffer because you're worried about how it's going to look, remember, you can do anything you want, and your ability to be successful has more to do with your focus than your ability. If you're going to focus on, I got to stay in this crummy job because I got to bring the bacon home so I could put the food on the table, that's what's going to happen. It's going to manifest, and you're just going to keep locked in there, right? It's going to stay locked in. If it's, I'm not happy, but I'm going to put on a good face, keep a great attitude, milk it for everything I can learn each day, do my best while I spend the rest of my waking hours looking for another place to go do that. Okay? Believe me, focus makes problems disappear, but what you focus on also grows. So make sure you're focusing on the right stuff and not the wrong stuff. Get out. Get out. If you can afford to not, you don't need that job and you can make it on your savings for a little while, leave. Go. Believe me, you will create space in your life for that great new job to come along because you will work hard to go find it and you will have so many more hours in the day to look for it. I get a lot of questions about, should I quit? Are you unhappy? Can you afford to not have income? Yes, and yes, then quit. Don't worry about explaining yourself. I didn't like that job. I'm out. Why aren't you working? I didn't like that job. I'm out. Right, kind of thing. That's it. Move on. What do we got? Kara's sending me some. You know Kara and I have a scheme, right? And she puts little hand-raisy things and hearts. You have no idea how much joy that brings me, especially when I see the hearts. Riptide Andy, thank you. 3 years ago, no employers in my field would talk to me. After following your advice, I now get interviews from the biggest employers. You're a friendly voice in the job maze. Riptide, you're welcome. You're welcome. Dustin, hi, Andrew. Thank you for all you do. Your guidance has been most helpful to me. Best, Dustin. You are so welcome. You really are. I really appreciate. I appreciate you guys. I really do. I love this stuff. Michael Tierney in the Job Search Bootcamp Part 2 main Resi sesh is amazing. Oh, watched it a couple times. Can I just put this plug in here? Appreciate you, man. Really good to see you the last, I don't know, month before that. Watched it a couple times so far, but still keep with the getting it out of imperfect and improve on the fly method, which helps me as an OCD. I'm pulling for you, man. You're a good egg. I hope things are going well in New York. Music Co 716. Thank you so much, Andrew. That was superb in my career. You were superb in my career changing, and I just landed an offer yesterday, which is still slightly away from my expectation. Look at this. Can we give Musico 716 a huge shout out for his or her or their victory? 25% raise in a career change. People, give this person a huge high 10 and take this to heart. This stuff happens every day. If it's not working for you and the process is not working for you, don't necessarily change your goal. Maybe you change the timeline or maybe you change the tactics. But believe me, there are employers that are out there that would fall all over themselves to hire you. The issue is you just haven't found them yet, and it could be for any one of a bunch of reasons. Okay, you're looking in the wrong place, you're not working hard enough, I don't know. Could be anything. Keep at it. Erwin Dwight, hi Andy, I had an interview in my target company last year for a director role, a total of 4 interviews, heading to the final interview with the CEO. I have to meet with the talent team member to discuss my salary requirements. Is there a question? While speaking to the talent team, I was asked for my salary requirement. Keeping in mind your strategy, I didn't share it at first, but I asked if they have a specific budget. No budget according to the talent team. Oh my, how far down does this go? I can't keep, buddy, I really wish I could. That is a lot of, I see another 8. So let me pass and maybe tighten it up and plop it in the YouTube channel somewhere. Steve F., how are you? Atunga, I am working through writing my plan list of requirements. The Career Achievements Journal is great because talking about my highlights is not my strong suit. Is there a question here? Does the identifying capabilities process change if we are making a career transition to another industry? Right to the job we want, not what we had. Yes, final answer. That's a yes or no. It's yes, 100%. All right. Keisha White, how do I decline a job offer with my current employer with more duties but no salary increase? It depends why you want to decline it. Okay, now I understand that you just said, I'm getting more duties without a salary increase. But I would say to you that you should always be getting more duties without a salary increase. Because if you want to progress, you need to show that you can do more. Now, if you're going to get a job offer and it's a new role, meaning it sounds like they're giving you either a new role, a new title, or something of that nature, you can certainly turn it down, but I don't understand what's to turn down. Are they just if they're giving you a title change, it's just a title change. There's nothing really to do. If you don't like the fact that you're not getting a salary increase, then it's up to you to either look elsewhere in the organization or look outside. But in this case, there's nothing to turn down unless you're going into a different unit. And if you're going into a different unit, then give them some other reason, like I would love to come and work here, but for that amount of money, I like it where I am. It makes more sense for me to stay there. But then you're inviting some other stuff into it. I don't fully understand the situation. I would love to know more because I think I could give you better insight. Oh wait, Erwin, let's go back to you, man. All right, hang on. Karen consolidated it for me. Hang on, let me change my screen here so I can see this. Erwin, back to you. I had 4 interviews with the target company. You're heading into the final. You were asked about salary requirement. You didn't give it to them. That's all I need, really. So I was told my salary requirement was too high. You didn't get the job. I've been applying for a different role in the same company because I know the core technology and I like working setup. However, I'm not getting any interviews with them. I tried to reach out to senior managers and recruiters. No reply, any inputs. First off, the big deal is you gave them a number. You got to insist that you are okay with only letting them throw a number at you. I assume you're going to make a fair offer. I don't have an expected salary. You've got to hold to your gun because any organization that says, no, I insist, and then tells you were too high, why would you even want to work there? What kind of sick, twisted joke is that, right? Like, I mean, think about that. I'm on your side here. By the way, coming in, I think it might be March 31st, I have a video coming out about how to negotiate a higher salary by not giving your expected salary. And I know that's like 6 weeks from now or 5 weeks from now, but that's the point. I just wouldn't do it. There'd be no way you'd get a number out of my mouth, ever. And if they say, we're not going to give you an offer, then say, okay, if that's how you feel, then I'm out of here. That's genuinely how I feel. It really is. How you doing, Landry? Ann, what's up? How would you manage a final interview with 7 interviewers from different functions for only an hour interview? I wouldn't. I would let them manage it for me. They're the ones asking the questions. Check out my panel interview videos, and it applies for video as well, meaning if it's a video panel interview. All right, I'm buzzing down. I'm going to try to look for a few more. I'm a little over on time. I'm a zip down. Vicky S. I have a background in pharma, blood, tech industries, regulatory. Love the job in team building. Are there positions in team building? What are the job titles? Generally, there are not positions just around team building. I mean, team building, any managerial position should enable you to do that. All right, hang on. Let me try to just trying to buzz through here. All right, I'm just zipping down. I'm trying to look for some different types of questions. TrueCon, no. Harp. Yeah. That's right. TrueCon, Trucano. I love it. Michael Tierney, love the podcast as an alternate to your IG snippets. I get them on Google Podcasts. I love it. I'm so glad. It's everywhere. It's anywhere you can imagine. The Tips for Working Life podcast is there. All right, let me see. Fawn, I received a great remote offer from a company headquartered in India. I'm in the U.S., trouble getting answers to my questions because my U.S. HR rep is out on medical leave. Is this a warning sign? Yes. Anytime anybody's out, they should have a designated point person. That's my view. Think about it. They should be putting their best foot forward. All right, you guys, I gotta run. I'm a bit over. Okay, wait. How many jobs in a row? Wait, Beth, hang on, I want to get this in. But leaving how many jobs in a row is too many, no matter how good the reason? It's not about the number. It's not about the number. And your last one, what I would say on your last one is, I thought I was getting into something good. My primary motivation for changing jobs was to move to Treasure Island so I could meet Andy up for his meetups when he comes to Clearwater, right? That kind of stuff. So you get a grace one. I don't know how many is too many. All right, you guys, I got to get rolling. Productivity minicamp next week. Shut down of communities tomorrow. Salary negotiation stuff the following week. And I got a lot more fun stuff coming. If you like this, please hit the like button. If you enjoyed it or got value out of it, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Please share this. It'll be up. It'll stay up forever. And everybody have a great weekend. And I'll see you. I'll see you Tuesday with a new video on, I can't even remember, but you know, every Tuesday and Friday I hit the podcast too. All right, y'all, I'll see you. Love everybody. You be good. Take care. Have a great weekend.